Welcome, everybody. Another episode of Two Chaps, Many Cultures, the #1 daily show anywhere online that talks about the business of culture and the culture of business. And Brett and I thought about this. It's episode number 100 and something, 181, I believe. And why the heck are we doing this? Who is this for? What drives this? What kind of culture do we create for ourselves that perpetuates this daily stuff? Well, time to reset the clock, check in with us. That means you too. Stay tuned. Welcome. One of the reasons why I'm doing this is I want to hear every day that tune, that track that underlays our intro clip. If you haven't noticed so, we make sure that you know who created that. It's in the show notes. We're not stealing copyright. We have permission from the artist himself to use this. I hope you enjoy it.
And if you don't believe us, he was, I guess, the episode, I don't know, I think it was about 20-something. It was pretty early in the piece, wasn't it? Yeah, Sepalot. Yep. So Sepalot. You could go back and watch it and ask questions and type in your comments if you like. But yes, welcome. This is the #1 show of the business of culture and the culture of business. And talking today, as you saw on the overlay, of, personal growth, and out of that, our potential. Our potential, one might think that our potential has been reached. We're the #1 show in the world. So maybe we've got nowhere to go, but we actually realize that we probably do. We probably got a long way to go. And
I believe no matter how long we're #1, which will be for a long, long time, there'll be people challenging that #1 position. So yes, go ahead, get yourselves ready, jockey for that top slot. Right. But we make sure that we stay on top, right? We're competitive like that. Even though we're not American, but we live here. We learned that, all right?
That's right. That's important. So our message really today is that there's as much out to message to ourselves as it is to everybody who's watching. So is to always check your assumptions at the door, check your position, and be open to challenges. Be open to the confronting realization that you don't know it all, and that is oftentimes a great doorway into self-awareness and the personal growth, the opportunity for more growth, the opportunity for more learning is growth, and then to live into the potential that we believe you can live into. And yeah, let's face it, we can live into. We don't actually think that we're the #1 show in the world, until we actually prove it to ourselves. And will we ever do that? One questions it.
And is it really that important? Who knows?
It's not that important, right? Yeah.
We decided to take this opportunity to, I think there's a new terminology that I learned in the last couple of weeks using Clubhouse, the iPhone only, audio only social media talking app. If you're not part of the Clubhouse, you're missing out. No, I'm exceeding the fear of missing out here. But there is a term that is used in the Clubhouse world that is to reset the room. As additional people come in to join the conversation, either in a listening mode or speaking mode, the hosts, the owners of the room, they reset it, meaning that they restate the agenda or the reason for being here, what the topic of conversation is. And that is what Brett and I are doing here today. Why do we do this show? What is Two Chaps Many Cultures all about? Why is the logo on top of the screen not displaying yet? Here it is. All of these things, right? Why? Multiple. There's even logos that must be missing. Here they are now. See, this is all the things I ask myself, why is this happening? No, Why do we do the program, Brett? What's your why?
Well, why did we start it? Well, it was the start of this pandemic. So there was obviously a realization that we're probably going to be spending a lot more of our time in these wonderful four walls that we call our homes, that we've built around ourselves and ensconce ourselves in and engage with every day. So, but we also realized that there was probably people out there that would benefit from maybe a little bit of light entertainment, but tinged with a degree of knowledge. And for whatever knowledge we had, we certainly could sit here every day and do it like we're doing it today and espouse our knowledge. But we then thought it would be much better if it was very heavily mixed. Many questions, many questions. Thank you, Karen. Yes, many questions. One of them is that we should bring in the voices and opinions of other people that do our work. And I'm even thinking, I was thinking about this, and this is real conversation, everybody, that I'm having with my wonderful colleague here on my left or right or whatever it is that do we widen the scope? We talk about culture and we talk about the business of culture and the culture of business. Do we widen the scope in terms of the topics that we cover, the people that we have on? Because what we find, many people, when we ask them to come on the show, say, what do you want to ask us? What do you want to talk about? What's the topic? And we push back and say, you think you think we got a plan? Bad luck. It's like, good luck with that. If you're not somebody who scores very kind of low on the ambiguity scale, then you're probably out of luck. So we just come to this every day. We turn up with a question. I don't think we really had an intention when we started it, but it was over a year ago. I don't even know when our first episode was. I have to look that up. But it was March.
This is 181, so you do the math. It's not been a year yet, but we started during the crazy time of this pandemic.
Yeah. So it was early. We realized, and we probably thought, we'll probably knock a month of episodes out and we'll reset. And here we are a year later. 181 episodes. But yeah, so that, I guess that was not very good answer to the question. It was just really, we thought that we had something to learn. We had growth to undergo, and what could be our potential? What could be the potential of this show? And of course we do it live, but it's also recorded. And then somebody asked me before, said, well, can I watch it on demand? I said, well, there's a YouTube channel. You can watch this and it will be there all the time, even after we're gone.
I flipped through the remote on our smart TV yesterday or the day before, and we had my daughter's boyfriend was over, and I flipped through YouTube because I was looking for something to show them. And as I go through my YouTube list, our mugshots pop up because there's our episodes going through my history on YouTube, right? And my daughter's boyfriend said, "One second, that was you." I said, "Yeah, damn right, that was me."
Yeah. And did you actually say, well, while we're on the subject, you better sit back and watch it?
Yeah, not that kind of bad. So okay, Janet, since you ask, okay, Janet is asking, is Christian wearing contacts these days? No, he's not. But good question, Janet. I do have glasses not at my desk right now, which tells you that I am semi-operational without them. I can read the comment on the screen. That's as good as I can see without them. But the glasses will come back. Don't worry about it. So there was this experimental part of it. Both of us, Brett and I, needed to learn, or we still need to learn a thing or two. And then there's also a business outcome for me. There was a desired business outcome. The outcome is ubiquity. The outcome is being the #1 show. Whether we say that tongue-in-cheek or not doesn't really matter. I think what happens by doing this consistently for 181 episodes and more is that nobody else has done it that much. So we're streaming this live on Facebook. Sure, some of you might be watching on Facebook, as is Karen in this case. But Janet here is watching on LinkedIn. and some other people are watching on YouTube. And being able to use technology the way we weren't able to a year or two ago, because these platforms and their evolve or improvement happened during the pandemic when there was a pressure for them to expand. And kudos to them, they did expand in a quite user-friendly way. So the fact that we can do something that we weren't able to do a couple of years ago, I find it highly intriguing and engaging. And Brett and I do this to, yes, engage with those who are following our path or who have been down our path before, and we can learn from them. We also bring in people to talk about their cross-cultural journeys. And yet it also serves the purpose of you getting used to these two middle-aged white male faces, because this is what we do for a living, right? We're not doing this because we have nothing else to do. No, we are passionate about this work. And the few minutes that you see us on these screens that you're watching this on is because we dedicate this time to our passion. We're not getting paid for this. We're not serving any client's need with this. We are sharing our passion for the work that we do. And my big hope is that it sparked something in you, your potential, whatever that may be. But I see our role as the torchbearers, as the instigators of cross-cultural curiosity with all of you. And if we can do that, then I think we succeed.
Yeah, I think when I first came to this work, there was a tendency for a lot of people to keep stuff close to their chest. But even as I engaged with a lot of people, that I found the stuff they were keeping close to their chest was pretty similar to what that next person was keeping close to their chest. And I thought, well, I don't know whether any of this is real unique, but it's such important information to what Christian says in terms of its ability to connect human beings and make them realize their potential, that I think, well, why would you keep this to yourself? And so what we're sharing here is basically, we're encouraging, we have guests that do it, but we also do it ourselves. We're sharing what we know. We obviously get paid for what we do in terms of outside of our working with clients. That's why we do it. But the information we have is something that really touches people. And at the moment, I'm in a course where I see this in real time. You know, there's so many experiences where people share situations where they've been in groups, working with individual or working with groups, where there's been these real impactful outcomes that they go, this is the reason you do the work, right? This is the reason, that's the ultimate goal. It's like hitting the best shot in your golf career, right? You know that you hack away until, you know, and eventually you just nail one, right? And it comes off. And that's
full disclosure. I do not play golf. Whatever he says, I don't play golf.
I used to play golf until my friends got sick of calling it comedy, and I realized that it wasn't real good. And so, but it you know, so I really kind of, this is, okay, Andrew, this is a great question. How has our relationship changed as a result of doing the show together? Well, actually, I thought of something as Christian was talking. I'm going to answer this question, but I'm going to jump into this question, because I think we couldn't do this separately. I mean, I couldn't do it on my own, put it that way. I couldn't actually turn up every day and do this on my own. I think the encouragement and the impetus to do this is, there are days when I don't want to do it. There are days when I, you know, and I think having a collaborator, just like I think in all of these pursuits, is really important. And I'm saying it in front of him here. I have not, in general terms of life experience, I haven't known Christian that long, but I think for me, I value our friendship as one of the most important I've got. And because we've been able to learn and bounce ideas off each other and look at different perspectives of guests through different eyes and challenge each other, right? And I feel obligated. You know, there's an obligation, but a really positive obligation, not a damaging obligation. That's just that's a short answer. I could go into much more, but I'll probably bore you to tears.
and Andrew, thanks for asking this question. And for those of you who don't know who Mr. Molinsky is, follow his work too, as follow the work of any of the commenters that we bring on the screen. But I would even go as far as saying Andy is one of the people who was instrumental in furthering my work, right? So I wouldn't be where I am today in the work that I do had it not been for Andy's support and the work that he's done. So check out Mr. Malinsky's writing. How has the relationship to Brett changed? I think we argue more than we used to. We can finish each other's sentences. I hate Vegemite with a vengeance. But all joking aside, the accountability and the fact that we're doing this together means that whether we want it or not, whether we're in the mood for it, or one of us is feeling it right now or not, doesn't matter. It happens because we committed to it. It's this type of romance commitment thing. Yeah, we said we're going to do this, so I'm not going to be the first to throw in the towel. No, we're doing this, and I don't care how hungover you are, or how under the weather you are, or how you're not in the zone right now. It's lifetime. It's showtime. Let's get it. So this is something that I think is missing, especially during the pandemic, because most of us probably have these kinds of people in our social circles, which have been quite constricted for a year or a little more. So having this virtual or remote accountability with a sparring partner that is also in the same line of work who gets me professionally, that is something that helped our relationship to deepen, I would argue, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what a great question. Only could come from the very smartest people in the room, which, again, we know that we stand on the shoulders of these people, right? And I've been, we've been in discussions with Andy's group and cohort, and I think, again, you're connected in this kind of world. You're connected through different ways, and you will meet people that will connect you with people like Andy and people like Christian and people like many people in this. As I say, we talk about this show that we're doing, but we're, yes, the number one, only because we're the only one so far, but we encourage you to actually do it yourself, because people might not like us, right? But that's why we encourage people to follow other people. We follow, we might not be your cup of tea, we might not be your jar of Vegemite. I think that was cold, by the way, about the Vegemite comment. But we want to encourage other people to do that if you feel comfortable to be able to be open source with the information we do, because I think that if you look through it, we're talking about personal growth and abundance, right, and potential. Is that if you come at things with a mindset of abundance, then you're always going to know there's plenty of room for plenty of people with plenty of information. And someone earlier today said to me, we kind of have a pretty good level of job security, because is there ever going to be an ultimate goal of everybody understanding each other on this planet? Will it ever happen, right? Well, I'm not pretty sure it's not going to happen in our lifetime. So if we can kind of open up a bit of a portal to that understanding and just spark some kind of something in somebody to say, this is really interesting, I want to kind of step out of my comfort zone. Andy himself talks about that zone of appropriateness. How far can you push your boundaries? What's appropriate? And I think that we can push our own boundaries to understand and acknowledge that there are differences, and they're wonderful, and they're worth being celebrated, but they're also worth being understood in a real tangible way, which affects your business in real ways, bottom line ways, right? This is this is not just hairy-fairy stuff.
And this holding information close to the chest or playing exclusive, this is not what our line of work is about to begin with. I never felt that way. I never felt comfortable in this being hyper-competitive and excluding myself from my fellow practitioners in the field. I think this industry practices largely what it preaches, being inclusive mainly. And let's face it, the knowledge, the information that we teach, it's out there. You can find it. It'll be a lot of work, and good luck to you doing it. But that's
we humbly offer 181 episodes of the work if you want to sit through it all.
Right. So it's not about keeping it in a silo and hedging it from abuse or unpaid use. That's not what it's about. You can find the information. Knock yourselves out. The magic in cross-cultural work is not the information in by itself. It's how it's facilitated and how it's shown to you. Oh, wow, that was an accent coming from the outside. It is how you use it and how you speed it up the street, as you just heard, right? In the facilitation lies the magic and not in the knowledge itself. So with that, let's wrap this up because I got to go. I got money to make and do something that's not live and that is with a client that is waiting for me to show up.
Good deal.
See you again tomorrow. And Two Chaps, Many Cultures, we want you to be on here. We want your questions. We want where you're from and what your biggest challenges or experiences have been. And ideally, we want you to share it with our audience as part of this little virtual world. Ciao for now.
Bye.